Hello everyone and welcome back to Rob Races and Rebuilds. Today we are going to try and take junk, combine it, see if we can cancel out the junk. So as I think I've mentioned in previous videos, the silver bumper is damaged in this corner. It's low enough that you actually can't really see it when the car's on the ground, which is nice, but the problem is it's missing these important tabs here, here, and here. You can see those are gone. And those are important because they hold in the inner fender right there. And if that isn't held in right there, wind will push it back and it'll go into the tire and it'll get shredded up. And yeah, you'll get mud and rocks and dirt in your engine bay and you'll probably wreck your coolant reservoir tank and so on and so forth. So I have this other red bumper, which is kind of junk as it has a large crack there, a large crack there, missing, well, broken tab, not missing. Fog light holes have been cut out, etc. It's not a very good bumper, but it does have the tabs I need. So, I'm no plastic surgeon, but I'm gonna attempt to section out the piece of that bumper with all the tabs and section it into this bumper. Hopefully with the least amount of surgery possible, because I don't want to repaint this bumper. That is my goal. It'll get expensive if I start talking about getting decent bumpers and having them resprayed, because then I might as well have the hood resprayed and then I might as well have the dent in the fender fixed, and it just goes and goes and goes. So trying to keep in mind, budget build, what can we do with what we have? So I'm going to look at this a little bit and then, I don't know, I think I'm going to try and just cut a piece off of that one, fit it onto here. So keep in mind, I have no clue what I'm doing and I wouldn't try to repeat it. I think we may want to section more of this out and attach it into here, but let's start with that. We also need to get rid of this clip. Works. Okay, I'm just gonna try and patch this crack together for now so that this is in its correct shape, so I can kind of clamp it to this bumper and then figure out a shape we're gonna cut out or something. I don't know. I'm winging it if it isn't clear already. So I got the soldering iron to try and weld the crack. I also was thinking I could use this mechanics wire, cut it into small pieces, heat it up with a torch, and actually melt it into the crack in like a zigzag shape to give it some strength. So I'm gonna fiddle with that and we'll see how that works out. Okay, that actually held. I did get a little bit of solder in there because it was left over on my gun. It wasn't really intentional, but anyway. That's kind of holding. Now I'm going to try my wire method here. By my wire method, I mean I've never done this before, so I don't know if it'll work, but worth a try. Something like that. I'll be able to push that in. Down there, maybe. Sort of worked. I'm gonna burn the plastic. All right, there it is. I think that worked pretty good actually. I mean, it's flush in there pretty well. Definitely gives it some strength, so cool. Now to test fit it on that other bumper. Alrighty guys, as you just seen, I just smoothed out that entire cut with the grinder just so it's easier to try and match. I've got the piece clamped in here now, so we'll be cutting from here all the way down into here, and you'll see right by the vice grip in this little zone there is a small chunk excuse me, that will be missing. Jackie. Yeah. That little chunk is going to be missing, but it's not a huge deal because there isn't actually a clip there, so I'm not too worried about it. But what this splice will do is give us these 3 mounting tabs to our inner fender. As long as we can make it strong, it should be a good fix, I think. So for ghetto methods, winging it, I'm happy so far. Let's see if we can keep making it that way. I'm gonna make this cut. So I'm going to take the rest of it to the bench grinder and get it close to that line. Alright guys, this is what we're looking at. Fitment isn't perfect, you can see obviously I went too far there. A little bit of gaps in there. It's hard because you get different angles of the plastic, but it's gonna do the trick, which is fill the hole to keep dirt and snow and debris out, and it's gonna give us tabs for our inner fender. So I just need to work on affixing this strongly, and then we're kind of off to the races, I think. Anyways, I am going to continue on like that. I need to make some more little curlicues, and I'll catch up with you guys when it's done. Okay, there it is. I got them all the little things I made all filled up the whole way. See there? Obviously, yes, there's a gap, but it seems to have actually pretty good strength. And from the front side, again, you can see it, but it's not horrendous. When it's on the car and the car is way down there, you won't ever see that area. So I'm sure some of you are probably disappointed that I'm not going to bodywork that area. I'll probably paint that little red patch silver just so it draws to the eye less. But I don't really have an intention to bodywork this, because if I start to bodywork it, it's going to come all the way up into here in these areas. And then I'm respraying this entire corner. It's not going to match, and it's just going to look like crap. Whereas if I leave it like this, just paint that red patch silver, it'll never be in your line of sight. And now we actually have a proper bumper with mounting tabs for the inner fender, so everything will hook up the way it's supposed to hook up, instead of just doing a bunch of ghetto zip ties and having a big hole here. So I'm quite happy with this. I might see if I have some 2-part epoxy and fill the crack on the back side with 2-part epoxy, just to seal it completely, and then maybe even give it that little bit of extra strength. So I'm gonna go see if I have some epoxy. Alrighty guys, I could not find any epoxy, so I decided I would just plastic weld in the gap. And unfortunately I kind of got ahead of myself and I never turned on the camera. But as you can see, pretty messy looking from this side, but I was able to get a whole bunch of plastic melted into there. So it fills the gap, and you can see, can't see light through there anymore. Ooh, I'm gonna drop the bumper off the table. And yeah, we're quite strong. I can bend on it and reef on it, and it doesn't feel like it's going to snap off. So I'm very happy with that. So next on the list of this bumper's things to fix are, we don't have tabs along here. You can see somebody kind of attached two tabs like that. I probably will do something similar to what they did. I'm not sure. I might hook it up onto the bottom of the car and kind of have a visual. The other thing is I want to cut out this broken grill. So this one's busted off on both ends. I'd like to cut that flush. And then I think to match the theme, I'd like to cut them all out so it's just a nice smooth opening. But we're going to leave this top one, hopefully, so we have somewhere to mount the license plate. But I still have to get these rusted bolts out without actually wrecking the plastic. So that could be a little tricky. I forgot to press play again, but those clips were so rusted and seized in there. When I went to take them out, the plastic was just broken, so I ended up cutting that one out with the Sawzall as well. Alright, we got a license plate frame. We have a fixed bottom section. Next is the rubber seal lip thing. Just looking at, I think I'm going to put 2 screws in through the bottom of these pedestals on the license plate mount so that it's good and secure. Has some really weird fasteners in it that I've never seen before. They're not OEM. But they gotta come out because it's obviously ripped off right here. I have the used one that's actually for this car, but since I'm putting this project off for now until I'm ready, I might just steal that and then we'll get a new one for that car. Well, add a little bit of strength to our whole ensemble as well. Alright, we got a rubber lip, cut out grill, we got a license plate mount, fixed our hole. I think the last thing we gotta do, we still gotta figure out our tabs here, but I'm gonna do that on the car. The last thing we gotta do before we put it on the car though is change the SI badge because this one's missing the S or the I don't remember. Okay, I'm noticing the SI logo I have here that I thought was the right one is not the right one. I think this is actually for a 9th gen. So, if I sacrifice the S on this one, glue it onto here, at a risk of breaking it. Or, I think I have another one that's 8th gen, but I think it's painted black. Let's have a look at that one. Yeah, so I've got this one, but it's been spray painted black. It's definitely not much nicer than the other one. I don't know. Maybe I'll try and gently take this paint off and see what happens. Well, we had something to lose. I tried to use the wire wheel and it just burned right through the red. So, I don't know, do I want a black one? Is a black one better than none? I feel like it is. Or is it worth risking trying to break the 9th gen one to fix 8th gen one? Something tells me it's not worth it because it'll probably just snap the letter in half. Okay, we're gonna paint this one black, sort of freshish, and put that one on, I guess. Alright, this looks as bad as you'd expect. I didn't put a lot of time into prepping it because I hate blacked out badges anyways. I just gave it a quick spray. This will make it complete for now. When I have more time and I'm feeling more patient, I may try to sacrifice the 9th gen SI badge to fix the 8th gen one, and then we'll have a more OEM look. But for now, I'm just going to throw this in there. Okay, that's good for temporary, and yeah, we will shelve this for a later date, and we'll try to make a nicer one. Okay, I'm going to spend some time putting the bolts and the clips in. It's not that exciting to watch. And I will show you guys the final result. Okay, it's fully clipped in and I'm pretty happy with it. We had to go with a bigger non-Honda screw for the vertical piece here in the fender. I did that on both sides, but it's holding good. So that's not going to pull out, which is great. I was able to get in every clip except the two on the outer edge of the splash shield right here. And right here, I use zip ties. The rest are all clips. And it's nice and sturdy. I was able to reuse those two plastic pieces that someone had cut and pasted onto there. I had to adjust them a bit, but those are locked in too. So our bumper is super solid. It's not going nowhere. And here's our patch, you can see. So yeah, I'm just going to put the nipple in this closeout tray. It was missing, so I went and grabbed one out of the red car. And I got to put the last two clips in, those two, and then we're complete. Bumper shouldn't have to come off the car again. I will paint that little red piece on the car. So I'm gonna knock those things out real quick and then we'll put it on the ground and see how it looks. That's really locking in there. All right, there she is, guys. She's on the ground, looking great. Like I said, you can't even really see the patch job. You got to get right down here like this before you can even see it. So I know this might not seem like a big deal, like, oh, you just mounted a bumper, but the bumper was super ghetto-ly mounted when I got the car. It had broken inner fenders, no splash shields, no license plate mount. All of those little things drive my OCD crazy, and just the fact that the bumper is actually mounted appropriately with the right clips and screws and it's not ghettoed on there makes me feel so much better. So, and the fact that we patched that hole and I know there isn't going to get snow shoveled in there and that inner fender isn't going to get pulled back and get destroyed like the last one did. So I'm definitely stoked on this. Makes me feel a lot better about the car. Can't wait to actually polish the headlights now and get her shined up. I'm not a super huge fan of the opened up grill there on the bottom, but it is what it is. I think it looks better being removed than it does having hanging pieces that aren't attached, so I'm happy with it. Okay, a couple more small things here before we close out this video. I ended up picking up some high beam bulbs, some Phillips ones, just OEM replacement, so that we can put those in so that I can actually mount the battery for good. Speaking of mounting the battery, we got to put our battery surround on. Got to clean it up first. And then I dug out the battery hold down and the rods, but they were kind of crusty. And I dug some more stuff and I found this one, which is a lot cleaner with a lot cleaner rods too. So no rust or corrosion like them ones. We'll just give it a mild clean and it'll be happy hunky-dory. Also throw on our insulated boots as we do not have any currently. So let's get to cleaning these few pieces and then we can throw them in the car. As you will have just seen there, the high beams I just installed are working, but we have a dead low beam and they're just some cheap LEDs. It's kind of a bummer because they're a pain in the wiener to change. So, anyways, is what it is. We'll have to get some because I don't have any, I don't think. But yeah. Overall, a successful video. It's a lot nicer having the battery properly tied down with the covers. They look a lot nicer. And it's nice to have high beams now, even though we don't have low beams. But the big win here is the bumper is something better than it was when we started. So I think that's going to be it for this video, guys. That's all I'm really in the mood to do today. So catch you back in the next one where we'll probably be working on the back suspension. Time to get that dialed in so the back matches the front. And it should be looking a little better and handling a little better once we do that. So consider subscribing if you aren't already. Thanks guys for watching. Catch you in the next one. Peace out.